it's no longer uncommon to see uncivilized behavior from Chinese people in Japan. There have been frequent warnings written in Simplified Chinese, which is common in the mainland. Increasingly, Japanese people are using a unique font to express their dislike of the rudeness of Chinese people. In July this year, a Chinese netizen shared an experience on social media about staying in an Airbnb in Osaka. They posted a photo showing a notice in 4 languages: English, Japan, Korean, and Chinese. The sign reminded guests to keep quiet at night. However, the Chinese version, written in Simplified Chinese, said, "Please keep quiet after 9 p.m., while the English, Japanese, and Korean versions all stated, "Please keep quiet after 11 p.m. The netizen expressed confusion, asking why the Chinese version had an earlier quiet time of 9 p.m. The image was shared overseas and reposted on Facebook, sparking a heated discussion. Netizens commented, maybe they want Chinese speakers to sleep earlier, since they usually cause trouble when awake. Because they need 2 hours of warm-up time. The basic volume level is different. Foreigners speak more quietly and adjust to the situation, so they can be quiet after 11 p.m. Chinese people speak loudly, often shouting across rooms, so they want quiet after 9 p.m. Because these people are inconsiderate, they know the rules but still continue to make noise for 2 more hours. Maybe past experience tells them that even when told to be quiet at 9 p.m., they still make noise until 11 p.m. In June, another video appeared on social media, showing another simplified Chinese notice in Japan.
Blatant discrimination. Here's another. In Japan, shouldn't Japanese characters be the largest, then English, and lastly Chinese? The English is so small. It's blatant discrimination against Chinese people.
The video was filmed by a Chinese man. The notice said, "No smoking," but the font size of the English, Japanese, and traditional Chinese versions were smaller than that of the simplified Chinese version. Another notice, "Heating on, please close the door when entering," was also written with an unusually large simplified Chinese font, while the English was much smaller. In May, a restaurant in the Nishi district of Osaka attracted attention for posting a notice in simplified Chinese. The notice begins by stating, "Many people are impolite," and then says, "We do not allow Chinese customers to visit our restaurant. Thank you for your understanding." The sign directly refused service to Chinese people. This notice sparked intense discussion. Some criticized the restaurant for discrimination, pointing out that blaming all Chinese people for the inappropriate behavior of a few was unfair. However, others supported the restaurant, arguing that the owner had the right to choose which customers to serve, with some even describing the practice as providing reassurance to Japanese customers. Some commented, "Prohibiting Chinese people is becoming a global trend. The restaurant has the right to choose its customers," and "a good place where Japanese people feel at ease." One user humorously remarked, "Even when Japanese people offend others, they do it politely." This incident also triggered dissatisfaction among Chinese netizens. On Red Note, one post angrily questioned, "What do you mean by this? Is this how you treat people from the Dragon Kingdom? Just because a few Chinese tourists were impolite, you're taking it out on all Chinese people. Is this reasonable?" Japanese media reported that the restaurant's parent company, Sayaya, has issued a bilingual apology on its website. They explained that the restaurant manager posted this notice without the company's permission and had removed it immediately. They also expressed their sincere apologies to any customers who were upset by the incident. In February, a Chinese netizen filmed another simplified Chinese notice at the entrance of a yakiniku restaurant in Kyoto. The sign said, "People who do not follow the rules are prohibited from entering," with the last sentence bluntly stating, "Get out." Taiwanese media speculated that the restaurant owner was fed up with impolite and unruly customers and preferred to refuse their business rather than endure their behavior. Taiwanese netizens commented, "Some people will be ruined by their own compatriots. More and more places are off limits. The quality of Chinese people is not surprising. Some people seem not to know what civility is. They criticize Japan every day, but their actions speak otherwise. So funny." And the wording is correct. These notices, whether reminding people to speak quietly, close doors, or follow rules, are meant to encourage civility among Chinese visitors. However, they have sparked resentment among Chinese people, even leading to insults. Shouldn't the Chinese people reflect on why Japanese stores are posting such notices in simplified Chinese? Could it be because of their own behavior? Is it really the store that's discriminating against Chinese people? An overseas netizen once posted about attempting to book a hotel in Japan in 2019. On the Chinese language version of the hotel's website, there was a notice stating that the hotel did not accept credit card exchanges, cash exchanges, or guest ledger charges. However, there was no such notice on the English, Korean, or Japanese version of the website. The netizen, who worked in the food and hospitality industry, expressed a desire to ask, how many bad debts did they have to experience before issuing this notice specifically for Chinese customers? Japanese media has continued to report on cases of foreign visitors causing what is described as tourism pollution in Japan, with Chinese people often being cited in high-profile cases. These include incidents such as urinating at the Yasukuni Shrine and defacing tourist sites with vulgar graffiti. In popular tourist areas like Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto, the behavior of some Chinese visitors has long been a headache for locals. They speak loudly, spit in public, cut in lines, and even misbehave at kimono rental shops, leading to some businesses to outright refuse Chinese customers. Public spaces are often monopolized. At train stations, department stores, and tourist spots, it's common to see large groups of Chinese visitors sitting on the floor or talking loudly. Shopping frenzies are also an issue. In recent years, the phenomenon of Chinese tourists buying in bulk made headlines, but the problem is many only shop at duty-free stores, most of which are owned by Chinese investors, offering little benefit to local businesses. In May, according to the Japanese media, SPA, a Tokyo office worker shared that during morning rush on the train, he saw a foreign tourist with a large backpack arguing with commuters. He remarked that for commuters, this tourist boom is just getting in the way. Another office worker recalled seeing two Chinese tourists having a meal on the train, eating sushi and drinking beer in priority seats, while two others sat on the floor. They even brought Odin in plastic containers, filling the car with strong smells and causing fellow passengers to frown. As passengers looked on helplessly, two stylish Japanese women boldly confronted the group, shouting, "How can you eat on the train? This is Japan, follow the rules. And how can you sit in the priority seats?" Even Chinese-born entrepreneur Huang Hao expressed frustration with impolite Chinese visitors. Huang, who became famous in Japan through a reality show, received a comment in April. "Chinese tourists in Japan are rude and unpleasant. Are there polite Chinese people like your father? Or do polite Chinese simply not come to Japan? It's annoying to see so many rude Chinese people." Huang replied, "Honestly, that's my true feeling. Sometimes I get annoyed too." He added, "But one thing is absolutely clear. Don't look at it from a nation or nationality perspective. Always look at it from the perspective of people." He believes that the actions of one person cannot represent an entire country, organization, or social group, but seeing China's trust rating drop still makes him sad. The latest 2024 survey by the Sasakawa Japan-China Friendship Program shows Japanese people's affinity for China is only at 7.3%, while for Taiwan it reaches 63.5%. A Japanese woman shared her experience visiting China.
唯一嫌なのが、まず順番守らないとか。
The only thing I dislike is people not following the rules and littering. While climbing the Great Wall, I really hated it. The Great Wall is mostly full of Chinese visitors, which is impressive, but they wipe their noses on the wall, sneeze on it, and overall it smells bad up there. It's clear why Japanese businesses feel the need to specifically use simplified characters to remind tourists of uncivil behavior. In contrast, Taiwanese visitors leave a positive impression in Japan. Taiwanese tourists are generally polite, punctual, quiet, and respectful of local customs, like not talking on the phone in trains or removing shoes in stores, which makes Japanese feel comfortable. Even though both groups speak Chinese, there's a stark difference. China was once known as a land of etiquette, but the Communist Party destroyed that civility. The Cultural Revolution wiped out 5,000 years of traditional culture and manners, leaving Chinese people without the roots of civilization. Propaganda taught ideas like roll in mud, toughen your hands, or hands black, feet covered in manure. After generations of such indoctrination, how could people know what proper manners are? As generations grew up without basic education and civility and lived in a society opposing traditional norms, Chinese travelers abroad often clash with foreign customs, causing uncivil behavior and negative impressions of China. This discussion focuses on Chinese visitors in Japan, but uncivil behavior occurs in many other countries too. The real cause is the Chinese Communist Party, which systematically eroded traditional civility. Japan is a focal point because in recent years, increasing numbers of Chinese tourists visit and even settle there. Despite long-standing anti-Japan education, many Chinese still prefer Japan for its civilization and social development. According to Nikkei Asia on April 13th, wealthy Chinese are buying Japanese tourist destinations at an astonishing pace. Out of 39 Japanese cities, at least 67 tourist facilities have been purchased by Chinese investors. Popular areas include Niseko and Furano in Hokkaido, Hakuba and Nagano, Hakone and Kanagawa, and Atami and Izu in Shizuoka. Japanese government data shows that Chinese are the largest group among new immigrants. Last year, of the more than 3 million foreigners living in Japan, 822,000 were Chinese. This is up from the 762,000 a year earlier and 649,000 a decade ago. According to the Japanese Immigration Bureau, by the end of 2024, there were 870,000 Chinese residents in Japan. This number is expected to exceed 1 million by 2026. Unlike the previous generation of Chinese immigrants, who are mainly students, interns, or working to get by, recent Chinese immigrants are wealthy and financially savvy. After weighing options in other countries, they have increasingly chosen Japan. In the highest value visa categories, Chinese immigrants dominate. Management and administration accounted for 51.3% in 2023, and highly skilled professionals accounted for 65.7%. By November 2024, the University of Tokyo had 3,545 Chinese students, about 70% of all foreign students and more than 10% of the total student body. Other advantages of Japan for these immigrants include proximity, favorable climate, a comprehensive social security system, and shared cultural traditions. In Kyoto, visitors can see the elegant architectural styles of China's Song and Tang dynasties, preserved systematically and completely. Japanese people still maintain traditional Chinese-style civility, with politeness and adherence to rules, which impresses Chinese visitors. Mr. Du, a scientist at a major chemical company who has lived in Japan for 30 years, told foreign media that daily life is easier in Japan because products are generally safe, affordable, and high quality, and services there surpass those in China. With kanji used everywhere, even elderly visitors who don't know Japanese can shop without difficulty. Investment visas are relatively low cost, requiring only 250 to 300,000 RMB, and long-term visas allow families to join and enjoy health insurance benefits. While economic and cultural factors are objective reasons, wealthy Chinese moving to Japan are often politically motivated. Since the CCP's COVID lockdowns, more Chinese have grown frustrated with mainland China's political environment. Mr. Liang, who has lived in Tokyo for many years, said that after Japan lifted all pandemic restrictions in March 2023, a lot of immigrants arrived for studies, business, or investment. More than half, and in some cases 60 to 70% of this wave, were motivated by political frustration from China's strict zero-COVID policies. Historically, many Chinese immigrated to Japan to escape turmoil, but after the pandemic, the Chinese population in Japan surged from 460,000 in 2003 to 890,000 in 2023, almost doubling. US-based China expert James Chow has suggested that China shows signs of an end-of-regime period. Zhang Zhengxiu, adjunct associate professor of public administration at Tom Kang University in Taiwan, wrote that if economic and social conditions worsen, more intermediaries could facilitate Chinese moving to Japan. Less wealthy or skilled individuals might even attempt mass migration by old fishing boats. The large-scale settlement of Chinese in Japan is unprecedented in Japanese history. China is a politically dominated country. Without the ability to establish a state controlled by its people, politics has often acted like a tiger persecuting citizens, leaving ordinary people powerless over their own lives and forcing many to seek escape. As China's economy slows and property prices fall, coupled with tighter social controls by the CCP, more Chinese are turning their attention to Japanese real estate. Both population and capital are flowing to Japan. The growing number of Chinese immigrants is beginning to change the landscape and lifestyles of many Japanese cities, and whether these residents can fully integrate into Japanese society remains to be seen. Regardless, it is hoped that Chinese people can become more civilized. Those already living abroad, such as immigrants in Japan, have the opportunity to shed outdated ways of thinking, break bad habits, and become truly civilized members of society.